Man, as a Laker fan, the Luka Doncic trade keeps on getting better and better. And don't get me wrong, I'll obviously miss Anthony Davis and Max Christie too, can't forget about him. AD won a championship with their team, has been a huge part of their team for the past half decade now, and obviously they drafted Max Christie, had really been coming into his own as a player, as a 3-and-D player for them, and he'll probably go on to do big things in Dallas. But apart from all that, the way that Mavericks fans have been absolutely down bad about the trade, absolutely angry about the Mavericks trading Luka Doncic, what the package they got for Luka Doncic, and then not to mention pretty much the entire NBA world being mad about it, whether you're talking about fans of other teams or even front offices of different teams, they're pretty mad about it too. And as a Laker fan, that's a pretty good feeling. Simply the fact that they could trade for Luka Doncic, that they were approached about it, how they handled it, how quiet they were about it, and the fact they got it done and probably found their new franchise cornerstone for the next decade while doing it, is gotta be a good feeling if you're a Laker fan. And like I said, the NBA is not happy about it. Whether you're talking about a fan base of a different team, obviously the Mavericks fan base, they're torn up about it, even rioting in some ways about it, or simply about the ownership of a different team, the executives in the front office of a different team, they are not happy about it, with many examples being shown up until this point. And perhaps my favorite one has gotta be Danny Ainge and the Utah Jazz. According to a new report from Ramona Shelburne and Tim McMahon of ESPN, Danny Ainge apparently did not know he was helping the Lakers trade for Luka Doncic. Apparently he had only 30 minutes notice while LA was landing Luka Doncic, and by then it was quote-unquote too late to back out. All he knew was that he was trading for a couple of second-round draft picks and Jalen Hood-Schifino, being a part of a Lakers trade, but he had no idea it was for Luka Doncic. And if he did know that, Danny Ainge being a former Celtic and kind of a closet Lakers hater, I really doubt he would have helped them do that. I mean, not simply for Luka Doncic, but getting Luka Doncic for what they got him for. You know, obviously they had to trade Anthony Davis, but only one first-round draft pick. They still have a tradable first-round draft pick. Danny Ainge has been trying to get those first-round draft picks from them for about 3 years now, dating all the way back to the Russell Westbrook trade and the aftermath and the trauma that followed it. He's been after their first-round draft picks. So I can't imagine he was too happy about it. I mean, reports already indicate he's pretty mad about it. And that's only one example to point to here. One of many at that. Another one happens to do with the executives I mentioned before. Per Tim McMahon of ESPN again, executives around the NBA are reportedly furious that the Lakers were the only team allowed to bid for Luka Doncic, saying, and I quote, "Executives from around the league were both furious and jealous that the glitzy, star-driven Lakers have been the only team given opportunity to bid for Doncic's services." Again, pretty funny stuff here. They're absolutely furious about this trade, they're angry about it, the NBA world wants it to be reversed, and you gotta give a lot of credit to Rob Pelinka here. You know, say what you want about him, Laker fans not been happy with him, but he definitely pulled off a really good and complex trade here that nobody saw coming, not even rival general managers. I mean, the fact they pulled it off with that much quietness and secrecy, only finding out about it when the trade actually happened, is pretty damn impressive.
This deal materialized in the shadows. This came out of nowhere. This is maybe the most stunning trade, definitely that I've been a part of in recent NBA history, as far as it was never clearly out there. And you saw two teams in Rob Pelinka with the Lakers, Dallas Mavericks, Nico Harrison there, doing this deal. And I'm told Luka Doncic, Anthony Davis, LeBron James, the players, coaches, a lot of people on both sides with the Mavericks and Lakers had no idea. I can assuredly tell you, it's a fact. LeBron James had no idea this was coming. Anthony Davis had no idea this was coming. I'm told Luka Doncic is still stunned about this trade.
And shout out to him for his former and current relationship with general manager Nico Harrison of the Dallas Mavericks. They've apparently had about a 2-decade-long relationship, dating back to Harrison's time at Nike, Rob Pelinka's time as an agent, and likely being Kobe's agent, with Kobe working with Nike, and that's probably where those two crossed paths, and ever since then they've had a good relationship, which eventually led to this kind of trade happening. I mean, Nico Harrison openly admitted that he approached Rob Pelinka about the trade, kind of joking about it, and then Rob Pelinka saying, interesting, maybe I would take that trade. And after that point, the trade talks kept on going, dating back about a month ago, but eventually ending up where they did end up, with Luka Doncic being a Los Angeles Laker and Anthony Davis being a Dallas Maverick, which again, the NBA is very upset about, and maybe even the Mavericks side coach is not happy about either. I mean, take a look at Jason Kidd during this interview with Nico Harrison. This after the trade happened, I think a couple of days ago, with Nico Harrison talking about the trade, what led to it, him and Rob Pelinka talking about it, and him not really telling Jason Kidd about it, who looks absolutely perplexed by it, questioning life about it, and absolutely disagreeing with Nico Harrison and kind of questioning his future with the team probably, if I had to guess too.
Physicals.
You mentioned you think this will work in the short term and the long term. Short term makes great sense. How do you see this working out well for the organization in the long term?
Well, I think the long term is the time frame. I think he fits our time frame. If you pair him with Kyrie and the rest of the guys, he fits right along with our time frame to win now and win in the future. And the future to me is 3-4 years from now. The future 10 years from now, I don't know. I don't think they probably bury me and Jay by then, or we bury ourselves.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know about you guys, but that to me looked like a guy that was trying his absolute hardest to fake the situation. Maybe not disagreeing by words, but definitely disagreeing by body language and facial expression. He had no idea what Nico Harrison was talking about. He literally wasn't told about the trade, and we're talking about the head coach not being told about trading the best player on the team, the franchise player and the franchise cornerstone of your team, a guy that he's coached for multiple years now and tried to build their team around, and I cannot imagine how he's feeling right now. But again, the trade did happen, it's now complete, much to the chagrin of other NBA teams, Jason Kidd himself, other NBA fan bases, other NBA front offices, and they're not happy about it, especially when you hear about Nico Harrison taking less for him than what he initially asked Rob Pelinka for. According to multiple reports, Rob Pelinka actually talked down the price for Luka Doncic, talking him down from Anthony Davis and multiple first-round picks and Dalton Connect, all the way down to only Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and one first-round draft pick for Luka Doncic. Apparently between the drinking problem, the weight problem, probably the contract problem and signing him to a future contract, all of which Nico Harrison probably felt and very likely agreed with too. Per one report from Mark Stein, the Mavericks, and very likely hinting at Nico Harrison here, were reportedly over Luka Doncic, citing him being away from the team and hiring his own medical team and medical experts to work on him despite coming at his own expense. They didn't like that, and then along with the aforementioned weight problem, the drinking problem, likely the future contract problem, per a different report, they were reportedly terrified to sign him to that $345 million Supermax contract, and all of that put together is very telling about how they felt about him and the future they wanted with him, which obviously was not very long term. And then to add more fuel to that fire here, per Ramona Shelburne and Tim McMahon of ESPN again, a new report saying that Nico Harrison quote-unquote decided early on that the best way to trade a player of Luka Doncic's caliber was to pick the trade that he wanted rather than opening up the process to avoid Doncic and his agent exerting their own leverage on the trade. They then followed by saying quote-unquote it would also avoid the crippling fan backlash that might influence the deal, which Rob Pelinka and the Lakers understood, very likely taking advantage of that and being more than happy to keep that trade quiet, aka keeping it away from other teams and them having the opportunity to put in a trade offer. I mean, reading that out loud doesn't even make sense to me. As a general manager, your job is to find the best trade possible, not simply one trade that you think might work and that be the only trade that you take a look at, especially for a guy like Luka Doncic. That's absolutely wild to me. Even talking about a general manager on a G League level team, that would be a terrible trade to make and a terrible trade process, let alone trading the cornerstone and franchise player on your team. Again, really hate to rub it in here, but the NBA is not happy about it, and I don't entirely blame them. Whether you're a fan of a different team, the general manager of a different team, the owner of a different team, you're not happy about the details coming out about this, and that you had no opportunity to get Luka Doncic. And well, with all of that being said, what do you guys think? How do you feel about the reports about the trade coming out, other general managers and other teams being angry about the trade, Danny Ainge himself helping it despite not knowing about the trade and Luka Doncic being a Laker, and overall the Lakers being the only team asked about trading for him? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. But I think that'll pretty much do it for this one, and if you enjoyed the video, then I'll greatly appreciate it if you dropped a like, subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and hit that notification bell to never miss out when I upload a video. But as always, thank you for watching and have a great day.